My wife's name is Jessica Cole Peach. She's from Charles City, Iowa, which is a farming community. And she moved here in like 99 or 2000, I think. She works at Cumberland University in the business office, and it is her first non-retail job.
So my husband's name is Scott, and he's very different than I am. He's a good old country boy from Cheatham County. He's a home inspector, building inspector. He's a people person like I am, and he's the life of the party. We built our house together. We moved in 1998. We have 6 acres, and my husband is a landscaper. He's crazy. He's a decorator, a painter. We have been married 27 years this coming August.
I met my wife when she interviewed me for a job at Sam Goody, which was a music store, not music instruments, but CDs and stuff like that. And she worked at the Sam Goody store in Harding Mall, which is now a Walmart. And she interviewed me for that job. And it was because I was transferring over from Media Play, which was like a Best Buy type place, huge store in Hundred Oaks, and but they were owned by the same company, and so I was trying to transfer over there, and so she interviewed me for that job.
We both worked for what is now called Lifeway Christian Resources. Downtown is the building they blew up last year. He worked in the warehouse and I worked in the bookstore, and I walked past his department every day, and I asked the girl in our shipping department what his name was, and she goes, "Oh, he's asked about you as well." And so she introduced us, and we met, and there you go.
My wife and I got engaged twice. The first proposal, I don't talk about it. Technically it was successful because she was like, yeah. But we actually broke up after our first engagement for a few months. And then the second engagement was years later because we wanted to not rush into it again. And the second engagement was at the gate at the end of the driveway for Arlington Vineyards in Arlington, Tennessee, which is just past Nolensville. And it was a special place to us because we kind of discovered it as soon as it opened and nobody knew about it yet, not to be a hipster or anything. And we used to go there all the time just because it's a very pretty place.
We had been already talking and planning our future together, so we knew we'd spend our life together, and we sat down. I made him dinner one night, and we sat down, and he slid this box across the table to me with a ring. But before he asked me to marry him, he asked his daughter if it was okay if Daddy married Sandy. So our wedding was at Belmont Heights Baptist Church. We had a traditional 90s wedding. We were married in 92, and the colors were peach and purple. I came down the aisle to the wedding march from The Sound of Music because that's my favorite musical.
Our wedding was at the county clerk office in Nashville. Part of what fell apart with the first engagement was that my wife has a very numerous family. And when you come from a farming community in Iowa, everybody wants to come to the wedding. And they're all going to bring all of their kids. And we simply were not going to go into our marriage $30,000 in debt, feeding a lot of people that we don't know. And so when we did it the second time, in order to take all the stress out and everything, we just went to the county clerk's office. Got it done.
My husband's ex-wife made our lives very, very difficult. We spent a lot of custody battle fights in the courtroom, a lot of back and forth. We had a horrible time. For a good 16 and a half years, we were constantly battling and fighting and spending money that we didn't have to do what was best for my stepdaughter. And that was a hard time on us. It pulled on our relationship, but we stuck together. We always tried to do what was best for our kids, and we decided the best thing we could do was show them that our relationship was strong and that we loved each other no matter what the circumstances.
Anytime where we've given up something to make the family and the relationship work, those are really some of my favorite moments with my wife.
He's real. When we first met, he just opened his heart up right away. This is who I am. This is what I've been through. This is me. Take me the way I am. And it never felt like I had to impress him. I felt like I had known him forever. It was easy for me to be myself. We talked through everything. I don't buy something at the store without talking to him about where are our finances, what do we got going on, can I spend $30 on this? We discuss everything.
I don't ask my friends and family what they think about my relationship to my wife very much, simply because I don't care. What my wife thinks about our relationship is important to me. What I think about our relationship is important to me. And it's nice if other people appreciate our relationship. But truthfully, if they don't, they can just get all the way out my face because they're not in it. If you're doing the work to make yourself and your relationships the best they can be, if you're going about everything honestly and lovingly, then you don't have to worry about what people think about you.
Well, I was living with my best friend from college when I met him. At first she thought, I'm going to be totally honest, that he was a redneck hick because he's a country boy. And then as she got to know him, she goes, oh, he's the right one for you. He's the perfect one. The first time he met my mom, they hit it off. They were like best friends, and my parents knew right away it was a good match. And my parents were concerned because he had been married and he had a child. They were like, it's not really what we were looking for you. And I don't think people think that way. You have the perfect idea in your head, and it doesn't always go that way. But in spite of all the things that they didn't think I needed to add to my life, they fell in love with him just like I did. Because he puts me and he puts our kids first before himself. And it's very obvious.
Since my wife and I got married, our relationship has evolved in the area of teamwork more than anything. Because we had 2 kids. If there are 2 of you, there's not a tiebreaker vote. If you disagree on how to go about something, there's not a third person to come in and make the vote 2-1. You have to compromise, or you have to give up part of what you want in order to trust that the other person might be making the right call. And that's really hard. The stakes are high. And we know that the disagreements are coming from love as opposed to just preference.
Just because we don't agree doesn't mean we can't get along. And we've actually both had some compromise and come together. And sometimes you just have to agree to disagree. I don't believe the way he believes, or he doesn't believe the way I do. When you're raising children, that's a huge discussion. How are we going to discipline? What do we believe on that? And we had so many similar ideas that even our different ones we were able to work in together as we talked through them.
The hardest thing is this realization, which I think you should do before you get married. You have to accept at some point that this person that you're attaching yourself to for the rest of your life, one of you is going to die. Chances are one of y'all is going to be gone before the other one. And so you are volunteering for the biggest heartache on this planet. Because we tend to not do that. We tend to not volunteer to hurt. But if you love people, that's exactly what it is. It ain't love if you're not volunteering for this person to be able to hurt you in a way that nobody else can. When we have disagreements, the result to either agree and disagree or a compromise, it's really on a per case basis, honestly. We have to accept that the other person's reasons for that disagreement are legitimate and valuable. Why attach yourself to a person for the rest of your life if you don't think that this person is brilliant and caring? The biggest struggles that my wife and I have in co-parenting are in discipline with the kids. How to react to the kid messing up. How long should the punishment be for? And even if we agree for how long the punishment should be, actually maintaining it when the other parent is not around.
The biggest struggle is that no 2 people do it alike. My husband loves to talk in third person when he's parenting. He believes that you should talk to your kids. When I'm disciplining my kids, I will say it once, and then I'll get in there with them. So I'm more of a hands-on, and he's more of a talk, and he wants to say it 3 or 4 times. And so that's where we really, really differ in that respect, but we made it through.
When my wife and I actually have time where we don't have to be with the kids or that sort of thing, our favorite things to do are, number 1, nothing. Number 2, go out to eat. Number 3, go see a movie. We keep it really simple. We've only taken 1 vacation without the kids ever. And that was amazing. But we also worried about the kids the whole time.
He's not a dancer, and I love to dance. And so when we first got married, we both love country music. And so I taught him how to 2-step around the living room. And so at night we would put our favorite music on and we would dance around the living room, two-stepping. And he's not, he'll tell you to this day he's not a dancer, but he'll dance with me every time I ask.
My advice to people who are waiting for the right person to attach themselves to for the rest of their life is, number one, don't make it a goal. If you work to be the best person you can be, and to go about things lovingly and thoughtfully, then other people will see that and other people will be drawn to that. Never think about if someone else loves you if you don't love yourself.
I was 28, so I'd been looking, just like everybody, for that partner for so long, and like, I'm 28, all my friends are married, I'm never going to find him. And I'd been walking past his department every day at my work. Me, personally, I don't believe there's just one perfect person. I think had I gone down a different path and I didn't meet him, I might have found someone else that fit me perfectly. I would give this advice. So when you have your arguments with your spouse, don't say hurtful things. Never call names. And don't say always and never, because they stick forever.